Hey, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity, Emma, Owen, everyone. It's awesome to be here to be able to talk about how passionate I am about the partnership between alumni and recruitment. Now, I'm a recruiter geek, so I love anything that presents me with talent pools. Anything that makes it easier for me to recruit for my company is going to be a win. So let's just get into it. Oops, wrong way. There you go. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Northwell. I hope to go through these slides. I just need to set the stage a little bit, and I'm so intrigued by the revenue piece. I'm going to talk a little bit about how I am going to work with Charlotte to sort of envision, but I want to give you a little bit of story about Northwell. So Northwell, 85,000 employees, 900 plus hospitals, care centers, for 4,200 physicians, and we are committed to the community we serve. So we are contributing 1.4 billion to the community. My recruiters get all in it. We are big on ensuring that we are there for them in supporting them in all facets of their life. So um, Northwell, if this says much about the culture, we are an organization that wins quite a lot of awards. You'll see that we're in the Hall of Fame for Diversity Inc. We have won awards for Military Friendly, we've won awards for Candidate Experience. And so a lot of it is just telling a little bit of context around the story of Northwell. All right, so I want to spend a little bit of time on this data because I want to give you some information about the organization and the workforce, right? So you see we're now up to 86. If it's up to our CEO, we'll be at 100,000 by the end of the year, but I get excited about that because that means job security, more recs. If there are no recs, I don't have a job, so, all right. So, and you see there that we have 12,000. My team does 12,287 to be exact hires per year. And that's external hires. There's a whole nother 10, 15,000 of internal mobility. The reason I wanted to put this information here, because I wanted you to see that we're tracking retention, we're tracking turnover, and I wanted to connect the story between alumni and how much we're looking at retention and how much we're looking at turnover and what better talent pool to bring back to the organization than alumni because they're going to stay so your retention number drops. Right. So wanted to make certain I'm sharing that information. So it's important for you to see to the right there, the average tenure of an employee at Northwell, right? 8.3 years, right? Also, cool, we have 5 generations. You could see how it's broken down. I don't think anyone is surprised that Y and Z makes up more than, the whole there of the team overall. And you can see we have our flex staff team numbers there as well in their input. And the snapshot of leaves of absences, right? So we are just tracking to make certain after COVID, which was really, tough couple of years there post-COVID, we wanted to make certain we're caring for our team members and that they're able to return to work and bring their full selves to work, right? You see the breakdown there of the average age of the individual. But the piece I want you to focus on is the retention turnover piece, because that, for me, when we are committed to bringing in top talent in the organization, we want to do so in a way that they're connected with the organization and they are going to stay. Cue alumni. All right, wanted to share a little bit about our culture, right? Our culture and our values and commitment. We have a saying at Northwell, and that saying is, we're made for this, right? And so these values and commitments, my team seek to identify individuals that match these commitments. Now, what better group already lived these commitments and values than the alumni? Hope I'm building the business case here, right? So like it's so easy, right? They understand what it means to be truly compassionate. They understand what it means to be innovative and ambitious and together and all of that. They already get that, right? And so that's who we are. We live it, we breathe it. It's who we are. And so bringing back somebody to the organization that it already embodies this, it's just a win-win. Right. So yes. So imagine you say, it's been wonderful working here, and I found another opportunity at the organization outside of the organization, and there's a party and there's a cake, and you're reading this, but in between the lines, right? You're talking about I'm irreplaceable, but you're seeing on the other side of your brain as a leader, some of our leaders are saying, you're dead to us because you chose to leave. Are you kidding me? How could you leave this great place? But this is what happens with some leaders, and that's why the recruiters and their relationship with the hiring managers, it matters because we're going to show them that you need this person. So now let's talk about the competition. So talent acquisition is about identifying talent pools that are going to be able to come into the organization, meet the needs of the organization. We spend a lot of our time building partnerships outside of the organization to identify different talent to come into the organization, right? So we are a very scrappy team, let me tell you. Like we are parking our vans in front of our competitors and handing out flyers in front of their hospitals to say you want to work with Northwell. If that's any indication of who the talent acquisition team is at Northwell, that's what we do. We have vans that have QR codes that drive around graduations and park up outside of graduations just to make certain the nurses coming out know we're hiring. And when you come to us, your career is well cared for, right? And then you get to work in this wonderful organization as well. So if that's any indication of who we are, we're looking for talent pools everywhere. Q Alumni Network, right? What a blessing. So recruiters spend their time trying to nurture relationships of candidates that they come across at a job fair or even on LinkedIn. And they're spending time nurturing those relationships, external, even individuals that have left, and sometimes they check in with you. And recruiters don't necessarily have the time to always reach out to those individuals that were once team members. So when the miracle or the blessing of the alumni network was created, it's like a team of people that's going to keep people warm for us. Oh my God, this is a win-win. They're not only going to keep them warm, they're keeping them engaged. They're making them feel like you're still working here. They know things we didn't even get yet in the newsletter, right? Because Cheryl and team are keeping them informed about what's happening. Stay connected, stay in tune. And oh, by the way, there's a discount at Banana Republic. I'm making it up. I don't know if there's a discount. I just love Banana Republic. Anyways. So it's that while they're doing that, the recruiter could never expend that amount of time to keep someone engaged and excited. So having the alumni network is that gold mine of individuals that can come back into the organization and make a difference really quickly. Let's talk about a cardiac surgeon who's used to a team of surgical nurses, understands the way he likes to manage the scalpel, understands his personality. They're very charismatic cardiac surgeons, friendly people. So imagine, right, that you have to now find a cardiac OR nurse. What better person to get than an alumni cardiac OR nurse? Just to give you some insight, it takes about 14 weeks for a brand new OR nurse. You could have been an OR nurse at NYU. That's okay. You just don't know how this surgeon works. You don't know the instruments he likes to use she likes to use. So it's going to take 12 to 14 weeks. Time to productivity. Now imagine an alumni or a nurse coming in that knows the surgeon, worked with the surgeon. How many more surgeries are they going to be able to do in record time? That's where our revenue would come in. I was sitting there trying to figure out a way to like connect that. But that time to productivity is priceless. You don't have a nurse in the classroom in practical training trying to make certain they understand what instruments is needed, when to circulate, all of that. Because that nurse was once here, worked with that surgeon, understands his cases, when he works, what he likes to do, that he likes certain music playing, blaring in the room, right? And so it's a comfortable space for that surgeon to do what they do best and save lives. So for us, bringing back individuals that have been in the organization, that have worked with the organization, that understand what it means to be made for this is priceless, right? Also, recruiters are measured on time to fill. So alumni gives you alumni network gives you a candidate, and that person's going to interview very well because they understand this already. And then you're going to be able to fill that position fairly quickly. And so that's a win-win for the recruiters. You ain't bring back. It was so easy to sell it to the recruiters. Oh, these are some great people that, the manager, David Gill, is talking about, again, the same things that I'm saying, how they understand the culture. An individual returning to the organization brings value, right? They feel like they're back home. They're also bringing everything that they've learned at other companies, right? Honestly, the way I see it, they're on loan to these other places. Right? And then I have a team of people that are just like, yeah, hang out as long, collect all the secrets, but be sure to bring them back when you're ready. And we're here waiting for you when you're ready, right? So for me, they're on loan. Yeah, you're at NYU. All right, yeah. But here's a newsletter. Here's what's going on. Here's all the sexy things happening at Northwell. Ready yet? That's what's happening through our team. And then you have the recruiters who are like, thank you to Goldmine. I have a rec open up. Do you have any do you have any surgical nurses? Do you have any LPNs? Do you have any physician assistants? Do you have a medical assistant? Right? You're just reaching out to see, what do you have? Can you send me? Can you make certain this job is blasted on the network? So, for them, this is a win-win, right? And then for the candidates, the team members that are coming back, again, it feels like home for them. Right? It's a place that's familiar. And they feel like they haven't left because of what the Alumni Network is already doing, keeping them informed and engaged, feeling supported. And we can't wait to do more with them in order to continue to enhance that experience. All right, so the competition. The overview really is just to hire as many people as we can within the second quarter, and to beat out our numbers before in 2023, right? We put some parameters around who can be hired. We are not considering students, fellows or things of that nature, only folks that have been employed with us and might have left 40 days prior. And then we have a first, second, and third place recognition for each individual. We have 89 recruiters that are joined in on this, and the year before we, to 2 years before, we did 176 in Q2, 230 or 240 in 2023, and so we're hoping to beat that. All right, so this gentleman here on the video is a Boomerang. So I'm gonna hopefully be able to play this video.
Hello everyone, my name is Eric and welcome to the day in the life of a scientist at Northwell Health. Here we are at the Feinstein Institutes for Medical Research in Manhasset. This is where the science happens. Some of the things I do in my position as a faculty member here is write new scientific publications as well as give talks at various venues about our research. So I work with a very talented group of scientists, researchers, and clinicians, and for a brief time I left the health system to take a job in the city, but I really missed that ability to work with a diverse group with a broad range of research interests. All right, so we're coming into the lab. We have one of our scientists here, Sarah, who's on this Keyence microscope, some centrifuges. Hi. This is the liquid nitrogen storage of our clinical trial samples. This is Matali, one of our scientists, and she's changing the media for some of the cells we have growing in the lab. So we had some good science done today, and we actually have a Northwell basketball league game, so I'm going to head to that next. All right, thanks for spending the day at work with me. I'm going to wrap up this day, putting some work on the sport over here. Thanks for watching.
All right. Somebody watches that. What? They have basketball? I'm coming back. That's no, but this is how these are the types of videos and stories that we're telling. We're using our platform to share. We're using social media. This is on TikTok. And I know every time I talk about TikTok, but usually in like healthcare company, they're like, TikTok, is that where they do all the dancing? No, there are other things on TikTok. And also you can engage folks. Considering that we have 5 generations, you better be using TikTok to try to engage some of your younger alumni, right? Because they're in their discovery phase. Right? They're like, I'll try this job for a year, and then I'll try another for another 2 years. And then if I could get them more money, I'll come back. No, well, we want to share with them that there's a lot to be had if you were to come back. So this is just showing the culture, what you could be a part of when you return. Again, we couldn't do this without Kat and Cheryl in terms of the database that they have, the fact that they're just blasting our jobs and reaching out and saying, hey, are you interested? Are you interested? They host events as well to ensure that we're present and we're reconnecting with those individuals, and that they're reconnecting with individuals that are not recruiters, just, hey, friends that they used to know, right? We're also using social media, growth stories, videos, so they can understand how you can continue to grow in organizations. So we're sharing career paths so they can understand wherever you are in your career, we have that next step for you. And as a result of everything that we've done, we're now at 231 hires. Again, remember we did 240, I think it was 246 in 2023, and that's only after 2 months. So we still have the month of June, and we're hoping to hit 300. That's what we're shooting for. The recruiters are all excited. They saw the leaderboard. One recruiter told me, hey, I just heard about LPNs. They changed we lost about 6 or 7 LPNs because they changed the shift from 12 hours to 8 hours. Now it's going back to 12. So now this recruiter is requesting a list of every LPN that's ever left so she can go, it's back. The 12-hour shifts are back. So please come back. So we believe with the engagement of the recruiting team and the partnership we have with the alumni network that we will get to 300. If we don't, I'll shed a tear. But I'm sure that we'll get there. All right. So listen, I don't think any of this is a surprise in terms of what we're hoping to get out of this, right? We want to make certain that we're increasing engagement and we're building loyalty with our alumni. We want to continue to enhance the candidate pool and also the experience. So we're going to try some other things in terms of trying to attract more alumni to want to return. And the recruiters are doing a great job, right? Remember the mug, you're dead to me. Yes, they're cashing in their relationship chips, right? The advisors that they are. And they're like, trust me on this. You want her in your department. You want him back. He's able to do this, that, and the third. Here's what he's going to bring to the table. And they're using that to convince them to see the value in bringing individuals back. And also, they're using that line about time to production. Like they won't have to spend 3 weeks in the training for health records. This person already knows our system. All 60 of them. They know our system. So they'll ramp up fairly quickly. So it's working, is what I'm trying to say. The next thing we want to do is to continue to collaborate with the team. It's working. And we're going to continue like innovating on our strategies. Some of the strategies we use for external candidate. And by the way, we're everywhere. So their alumni bumping into us no matter where we are, right? Whether we're at their graduation because they're a PCA that went to school for nursing and we're driving the van around and parking it up in front of the graduation classes, you're going to see us. So we pride ourselves on being everywhere candidates could be. So we're going to be partnering on the job fair specifically for alumni. And we've been doing something called Coffee and Careers. The recruiters love doing it. They see the value. We do it for external. We take it to different communities. Recruiters make themselves available to the community to help folks do resume prep and have career conversations with them, interview prep. And so we're going to offer the same thing to the alumni network as well. So we're hoping from that we'll continue to build more pipelines. I hear that we're at 1900 or 1999, right? So I'm going to quit after this and then I'm going to come back next week and then it'll be 2000. But no, we're excited. And again, just want to thank you for the opportunity.